Hey guys, welcome to the August 2015 edition of Casual Magic, and this is a series of videos where I talk about decks that are mostly geared towards casual play, that are really fun to play, usually around some sort of theme or mechanic that's really fun to play around with. And these aren't really intended for your Friday night Magic, they're more intended for your kitchen table, and they're always super budget decks. This one costs under 8 tickets. I'll show you that later after we talk about more of the cards, so this is a very cheap deck to make. And I'll go ahead and start talking about it. So this deck is based basically around the Scry new evergreen ability, actually, as of Magic Origins. So we'll be seeing more Scry than we have before. And they printed a new card in Magic Origins that made me think that this would be more possible now than it used to be to make a Scry deck, and it's Jace's Sanctum. Makes my instants and sorcery spells cost 1 less, and it also makes my it also lets me scry every time I cast an instant and sorcery spell. And now back in Theros block, they printed a few cards that care about scrying. One of them is Flame Speaker Adept, who gets +2/+0 and gains first strike until end of turn every time I scry. And another is Knowledge and Power, which lets me pay 2 anytime I scry and do 2 damage to target creature or player. So it can generate a lot of value. And those are 2 of our main win conditions, the Knowledge and Power and Flame Speaker Adept. And we also have Prognostic Sphinx, who works best, of course, in conjunction with either the Adept or Knowledge and Power, but can also just kill the opponent in the sky and help our draws be better by scrying 3 every time it swings. And most of the cards in our deck scry in one way or another to enable us to make a huge Flame Speaker Adept who's hard to stop, or to enable us to just keep burning our opponent. One of the best things to do with Flame Speaker Adept is put Aqueous Form on him. It makes him unblockable, and every time he attacks, he scries once. So he's going to hit him for 4 every turn at a minimum, and that's assuming I don't have any of my other scry cards in play. We also, of course, have the Scry Fish, Sigiled Starfish, who's a 2-mana 0/3, and I can just scry 1 for free by tapping it. Voyage's End is a bounce spell, returns creatures, and I get to scry roll 1. Magma Jet's a burn spell that allows me to scry 2. Dissolve is a counter spell that lets me scry, and so the only spell in our deck that doesn't have something to do with scrying is Mana Leak, which we just have in here to slow our opponent down in the early game, or to protect our Flame Speaker Adept. Well, we also have Outpost Siege. I forgot about that, to help us draw gas if we need it late in the game, later in the game. So the deck's basically, as I said, based all around Scry, and it wins with big Flame Speaker Adepts and Knowledge and Power. I also have a sideboard here. What I like to do, especially with these casual decks, is sort of just have stuff in my sideboard to make it better, my counter magic better, basically, against certain opponents. Right now, it's pretty good against everyone, but if I go against an opponent lots of high-cost spells, I can side in 2 Disdainful Strokes, and against an opponent with lots of creatures, I can side in 2 Nullifies. We also have the Rending Volleys. We'll take out our Magma Jets for them against some opponents. Pyroclasm to be used against aggro opponents. Roast if I have creatures I'm having a hard time dealing with, and Smash to Smithereens for artifacts. And that's the deck, more or less. I'll play 3 matches with it so you can see what it does. That was a pretty quick video. This deck's a lot of fun to play. It's fun to beat your opponent by scrying, and it's not something that happens very often in any other deck, certainly, but it'll happen here. So anyway, thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment.